when I first heard I got a call from my agents and they told me that there was a remake of RoboCop being made, and my initial reaction was that I might see that in the movie theaters. I don't think it's a great fit for me, at least where I was at the time. But then I found out that José Padilla was going to direct it, and I'd seen his documentary Bus 174 and his 2 Elite Squad movies. And that completely changed my perspective of what the possibilities of a remake could be. Because there's a lot of wrong reasons why you would make a remake. But there are some good ones. And when I heard that Jose was going to direct it, I was pretty certain that it was going to be one of the good ones. And then I sat down with Jose, and he told me the vision of the story that he wanted to tell by using the concept of RoboCop, and I thought it was a brilliant idea, and it brought me back to the sort of, I think it's human nature in many ways that we retell our favorite stories. In the theater we do that all the time. It's I've seen 4 different Hamlets. Every one has given me something different, and in this case it feels like. In 1987, when this film was made, it was a futuristic vision that felt very much like fantasy. It was an incredible film. But in 2013, the technology has had an exponential curve, and we're so far into the future that I think in 1987 we couldn't imagine where we would be right now. And for us, where society has come today, the concept of RoboCop really made sense to revisit, because there were so many. It was one of those great opportunities where you could meld a big scale, exciting action movie, but at the same time get the opportunity to talk about some very interesting philosophical and political questions.
Originally, when the film was pitched to me, there actually wasn't a shooting script, so I took the role without even reading a script. It was pitched to me as in that it was probably going to be around four scenes or 5 scenes. I sent an audition tape and Skype with Jose, and then got the role and literally jumped up and down around the house and called Mum and Dad and all my brothers and sisters. It was a very exciting moment for me to be cast in this role. But what was lovely is, as the film developed, Clara Murphy developed as well, and the family dynamic and the family relationship became an important element. And I think for Jose, he felt that it was important to ground Alex Murphy, with a home, with a family, with a loving wife and a beautiful son, and for that heart and soul and that drive and passion to not only be, for his journey not to just be about revenge, but also because of his heart and his soul and the pulse and the thing that drives us all in love. And so I kind of got really lucky there in regards to the fact that the role grew as the project went on.
First of all, it was a bit of a challenge to put on this suit. The first time I put it on, we were out in Pasadena. It was a hot day in LA. It took like 45 minutes 1 hour and 45 minutes to put it on, and it was so uncomfortable. It was digging in everywhere. It was pressing down on my shoulders, and I was just sweating like a pig. And after 20 minutes, I said, I gotta get out of this. But then I was thinking to myself, it was a daunting idea that I was going to have to wear this for 14 hours a day, 6 days a week for 5 months. But actually the suit became one of the first seeds of that led my imagination into the vulnerability that Alex Murphy felt after he became RoboCop. And it was an interesting contrast, because he's got this body that is so powerful, but all of a sudden he feels very uncomfortable, and he's amputated from his throat down. He doesn't know who he is anymore, and like my little level of uncomfortability sort of led me to think of what Alex would have felt times 1,000. So it was interesting. I was surprised to think that this suit that should make me feel so powerful actually made me feel vulnerable, and so that was interesting.
These unbelievable transitions too. I noticed from he's human, then he's robot, then he's robot and human, and that's really, really hard to do when you're wearing a big black suit. And I was really knocked out by it. I mean, I was knocked out by the movie, and I hadn't seen it until about a week ago or so. But I kept watching him in it, and it's really extraordinary what he did. He probably won't get the credit for degree of difficulty that was required. And what I didn't hear him speak about this before, but in a way, the suit becomes your. A long time ago, when they were asking me when I did the first Batman, I made a joke, but I was actually serious. I just worked the suit, man. I let that suit go to work for me.